At second division strugglers Bury, despite the boost of a 20th minute goal from Lee Peacock, his first in the league this season. City should have doubled their lead from the penalty spot, but after winning the kick, transfer listed Tony Thorpe saw his team effort easily saved. The penalty count and the scores were evened up before half-time. Matt Hill's foul providing the opportunity for John Newby to demonstrate how it should be done from 12 yards. The home side threatened a shock win when winger Harpal Singh fired them in front 4 minutes into the second period. But the penalty drama wasn't over as Aaron Brown won City another spot kick near the end. This time Peacock scored to secure a point, not enough though to prevent them slipping further off the promotion pace. Phil Duffel, HTV News.
From a possible 12 in their last 4 games, it was time for City to get back on track. The early luck didn't go their way when Scott Murray claimed his shot had gone over the line, but the referee decided Blackpool had kept it out. But just seconds before half-time, transfer listed Tony Thorpe, who like his team has been off the boil for the past few weeks, got his 10th of the season. Blackpool's equaliser came and the ball fell to Danny Coyd. His shot hit Matt Hill on the arm, and the referee opts for the spot kick. It's a close decision. Mickey Bell was booked for his protests. Mike Stoll dived the right way, but Paul Simpson's shot was too well struck. But then, just as the game seemed to have slipped from City's grasp, Scott Murray hit a spectacular winner. The manager was delighted with the result, but not the referee's penalty decision.
I can't understand how we can deem that as being a deliberate handball. I thought it was a crazy decision, but I thought there was quite a few decisions throughout the game that flummoxed everybody, you know, and I think it was only the referee and linesman knew what.
To put their indifferent form of November behind them against Notts County at Ashton Gate. Danny Wilson was forced to make one change from the team which beat Blackpool. Young Craig Woodman given his first league start in place of the injured Mickey Bell. Notts were looking for their first league win in 11 matches and gave a debut to loan signing James Quinn from West Brom. Defender Craig Ireland, the other addition to the side, which beat Cambridge 2-0 in the FA Cup. Your commentator is Nigel Turner.
Flicked on by Aaron Brown, looking for Peacock, forced for run to Thorpe back to Peacock again, and side-foots it, when perhaps he should have blasted it. Neat interplay though, Peacock picking it up, slipping it to his left to Tony Thorpe. Thorpe unselfishly back into Peacock's path, and he tried the gentle approach when brute force might have achieved more. Hill wins it well in the air. Brown and Doherty. City finding their men neatly at the moment, and there's a good long pass looking for Peacock. Peacock shadowed by Chilvers. City trying to work the cross in, and he does, and it's an own goal. Woodman with the cross in, and Craig Ireland, one of the more spectacular own goals. 1-0 Bristol City. Carey will have to chase back for this one. Hackworth's with him. Cliss looks up and tries to send Thorpe clear. First time cross in and a diving header on, a great save. Lee Peacock denied by the left hand of Mildenhall. Great reaction save by the former Swindon keeper. Thorpe did so well getting that cross in. It didn't at first look like Peacock would get on the end of it, but his anticipation was there. He headed it. He must have thought it was in, but Mildenhall had other ideas. Quickly taken free kick in now for Notts, and a chance for an equaliser. Shot coming in by Allsop. Furious action at both ends. Now here's Doherty bursting through once more. Quinn comes across to do the covering. Hill chips it forward. Notts just aren't finding their passes. Gary Hours can't get it clear. Woodman battling away. Almost ran into Gary Brazil, the Notts manager. Now here's Scott Murray. On the overlap is Carey. Good cross in. Headed out by Ireland. Bristol City turning the screw. And that's out for another throw to the enclosure of the Dolman stand. Carey will take it. Gets it back from Thorpe. Another deep cross into the box. Peacock, great save again. Well, that was another marvellous reaction save by Steve Mildenhall. Peacock must have felt he was going to score there. Exciting stuff, and now another chance. This time Murray gets it in. Oh, the cross comes down. Clist! Well, they could have had 3 or 4. Simon Clist, first time onto the ball as it was rolling towards him in the box, and he just missed the target. Woodman. Stowell. Well, he was lucky, was Stowell on that occasion. Quinn was closing him down, and now it could come all the way through to Peacock. Mildenhall's out, and you could see what Peacock was trying to do. He saw that Mildenhall was off his line and just tried to lift it over him, but got far too much on it. Talk about end-to-end stuff, though. Several generations of supporters there enjoying the action. Hours heads the ball forward. Cole's underneath it again, got rather too far underneath it. Hill to make a better clearance. Brown. Here's Murray. Clist in a lot of space. Hasn't got much support to the left though, and that was rather too easily read by Notts County, but they've given it away again. Hours' pass was a poor one. Hill now joining in the attack, goes to ground. Hours penalised. Quickly taken free kick. Here's Woodman, first time into the box, and well read in the end by Craig Ireland. Woodman again with a cross, and Craig Ireland once again on the end of it. This time the result a better one for the Notts defender. Doherty. Woodman. Thorpe now on the left for the first time in quite a while. Good run. Thorpe, right footed, trying to curl it inside. Good effort. As he started the run, Tony thought you could see what he was going to try and do. Past the second defender and then tried to curl it with the inside of his right foot. Didn't quite manage to bend it enough. Coles having to stretch for it. Murray. Well picked up by Doherty. Back inside to Murray. And Doherty again. Teasing ball into the box. And cleared away by Chilvers. Just the sort of cross that brought the goal in the first half, the own goal. Corner then to Bristol City. Murray to take it. Back header on in the box. Peacock trying to tee it up. Just past the post, and good save in the end it was. Simon Clist, and Mildenhall did very well to get a hand to it. Now trying to send Quinn clear. Quinn will collect this ball. Yes, Caskey again. Well, they've got behind them, and that was Carey, I think, who blocked it away in the end. Lewis Carey was there right when it mattered. Hill will have to try and salvage that, and now Allsop on the break. This could be the opening that Notts County have been waiting for. Quinn trying to get that in there in the box as well, and just in time Stowell manages to snap a lift away from the feet of Marcel Cass. Here's Quinn, nice little flick to Allsop. Quinn again, into the edge of the box, right on the edge of the box. And which way has he given it? Has he given a dive, or has he given it to the free kick to Bristol City? I'm not sure. No, he's going to book Matthew Hill for that. Hill against Allsop it was. And Hill receives a caution. Certainly not 10 yards back at the moment. The referee showing them exactly where he wants them. Stowell frantically organising his troops. Caskey's over it, so too is Gary Hours. They don't think the wall's back far enough. It's Caskey! Curls it onto the roof of the net. Darren Caskey. Quinn dropping deep to get the ball. Good run, and he looks up and tries to flick the ball on. Chances on here. Cass with the shot, blocked by Hill. But Notts County beginning to look more potent as an attacking force. Caskey with the corner to the near post. Murray trying to get back to make the clearance. Caskey feeds it back to Richardson. And now Cass. And a deflection, and it's going to go in. And who's claiming it? I think it's Quinn. James Quinn, the Northern Ireland international, on his debut. It was Cass with the shot, but Quinn with the deflection. 1-1. Aaron Brown hits the long ball, looking for the chasing Thorpe. Thorpe in the box, goes down, and what's he given? Penalty. Well, Gary Hours cannot believe that, and in fact I think this might be the wrong colour card for Gary Hours, just possibly. We'll have to have a look, but Gary Hours brought down Tony Thorpe in full flight. And Mr. Fletcher ruling it was a penalty, and it's a yellow card for Gary Hours to add to his discomfort. Penalty to Bristol City. It looks like Lee Peacock going to take it, and a chance to instantly restore Bristol City's lead just after County's equaliser. Considerable delay, here he comes. And straight down the middle, Lee Peacock, 2-1 Bristol City. Lee Peacock's 5th goal of the season. They don't come much easier than that one. Milburn all dived out of the way. Peacock went for the central route, and Bristol City are back in front. Murray goes down. Chilvers, I suspect, on past experience of this match, will get in the book for that one. So Carey with the free kick. And another free kick right on the edge of the box. Peacock getting a bash on the nose. whose fancies a pop at this? Peacock looks as if he might.
Stay together.
Well, perhaps it's going to be squared to one side for Peacock, is it? Thorpe standing there as well, fancying it. Woodman, Peacock. Yes! 3-1 Bristol City. Lee Peacock. Well, there seemed an awful lot of hesitation as Bristol City took that free kick. I'm not sure it's exactly what they intended, but in the end, squared to Lee Peacock. And that rasping shot in off the crossbar, and Bristol City must surely have the points wrapped up. Allsop out to Hours. Chance to cross the ball in once more. Oh, the ball's coming all the way through, and it's a goal back. Notts County have pulled one back, 3-2, and he's hurt himself in the process. Liam Chilvers pulled a muscle, I think. Chilvers sprinting in down the right-hand side, just beat Stowell to it. He hurt himself, but he got it in off the post, and suddenly the game's on again, 3-2. One in the air by Ireland. Here's Doherty now. Thorpe making the run for Brown. Brown chooses to play it to Woodman instead. Woodman cuts inside. Doherty just changing the angle of attack. Here's Aaron Brown. Pull it back for Peacock. Tried the side footer. Mildenhall stood tall and made the catch. Lee Peacock looking for a hat-trick. Quinn goes down, Cole's in on Cass, the referee says play on. Now here is Cass in a bit of space, Hill reads it well but actually misses it. Cass, can he pick out someone in the box? Oh, Carey just gets across there to make the vital save and put it behind for a corner, otherwise the equaliser was on. As City try and defend this 3-2 lead. Oh, it's going to come to Hours. He couldn't get his shot cleanly away. Blocked by Murray. Into the penalty box it goes again. Headed out by Hill. And now the break's on. Thorpe's clean if they can find it, but instead Hours can maybe set up Quinn, and the equaliser coming surely. No, blocked out. Well, it's like a pinball in there at the moment. Cass, can he get the cross in? Whipped into the near post. Bristol City were at 6s and 7s. There was a chance for a breakaway with Thorpe all on his own on the halfway line. The pass didn't come. Instead, Notts County almost got the equaliser.
Danny, points in the bag, which is the most important thing, I suppose, although there were one or two scares.
Yeah, there was. I think they were caused by our own lack of concentration, really, rather than the opposition carving us apart. I think we were fairly comfortable throughout the game. I thought the first half, quite honestly, is the best 45 we've had for a few months. We possibly could have been 5 or 6 up, and I don't think it would have flattered us. The goalkeeper's had some fantastic saves he pulled off. We've had a few great opportunities as well we possibly could have done better with. But overall, I was really satisfied. You know, just a couple of lapses of concentration at times, but I think offensively today I thought we played really well.
At City when they met in the league in September and looked good for a repeat win when Jimmy Bullard edged them in front. But the home side were back on terms before the break. Scott Murray drilling in a low shot to claim his 6th goal of the campaign. City should have had the tie sewn up when Tony Thorpe was tripped to earn his side a second half penalty, but skipper for the night Lee Peacock saw his weak effort saved. So extra time was needed, and just as in round 1, City conjured up a winning golden goal. Transfer listed Thorpe, the man of the moment, after 96 minutes. Filled up
against Northampton last weekend. The manager has wielded the axe. Out go Gibson, Blackwood and Carey. In come Sharp, Thomas and Roberts. Craig Falconbridge is injured and transfer listed, so Andy Morrell starts up front. Bristol City come to the racecourse in a rich vein of form off the back of 3 straight wins, but boss Danny Wilson is still without injured playmaker Brian Tinian, wing-back Nicky Bell and former West Ham striker Steve Jones. Tony Thorpe starts up front with Lee Peacock. They've already got 14 goals between them this campaign. Underway then for a game that was originally scheduled for January, been brought forward because of both clubs' early FA Cup demise. But City going great guns in the league, so it'll be a big test for Wrexham this afternoon. They're in a playoff place, Bristol City, and they're also in the last 4 of the LDV Van Trophy. Early touch for Scott Murray, who will be one of Bristol City's danger men this afternoon, but it's a Wrexham ball. Well, they need to try and create an atmosphere. Dennis Smith was saying in his programme notes that the side need all the support they can get. Bristol City just finished 1 place above Wrexham last season in the 2nd Division table. I suspect there might be somewhat more of a gap this time round. Wrexham just 3 off the bottom. The referee wants the free kick taken from the correct spot. So the first set piece then for any kind of threatening position. And they've got a few up as well. Coles has come up from the back for City. Burnell and Peacock there as well. Brown delivers, not very accurately. It's come out to Scott Murray. Just deflected off Sharp, and it'll go behind for the corner. Walsh unable to keep it in. They say that Scott Murray's now worth around £1 million. He cost just 150,000. He came from Aston Villa. Not that they want to sell him. He's going to take the corner, the first of the game.
Stay with him.
Hit very deep, Brown on the volley. It was flicked on there by Danny Coles, who was all on his own. Not very far from goal. Hasn't scored yet this season, Coles. He's very highly thought of. He's just signed a 4-year deal. It was Brown who got it back, and Coles wasn't far away. Peacock, Wrexham ball, Trundle, beautifully taken, and a decent ball from Morrell as well. 2 players trying to get forward. Thomas is in there screaming for it. It's still Morrell. He overran that rather, and it's only a goal kick. But it was promising for Wrexham. Excellent stuff from Lee Trundle. Controlled the ball in an instant, and then got Morrell away down the left-hand side. Just couldn't make anything of it. Andy Morrell, who according to Dennis Smith was the man of the match last week, came on as a substitute when Falconbridge was injured. Hill's header. Forward from Burnell. Now Murray. Peacock and Thorpe in the middle for him. It's in towards Thorpe, and the goalkeeper just about got that. Just for a second it looked as though Walsh may have let that spill out. There were 2 Bristol City men ready to pounce if they had have done. Curled in by Murray. It was an awkward one to take actually. It bounced just in front of him. He managed to keep it within reach. Forward by Carey. Away by Holmes. On by Murray. There's a real war of attrition in midfield. It's rather stifling the creative instincts of both teams. 5 minutes till half time. Flick on was by Morrell. Trundle Well, the pass hit Ferguson. We're lucky to get it back. Hill. Ferguson again. This is Sean Holmes. Towards Trundle, that's a decent ball. Hemmed in by two defenders though. Exquisite pass to Sharp, that's dangerous! And he just couldn't get there on the slide. Morel, ball still not clear. Best move of the game by a long, long way. And it came from the Dragons, who could so easily have been a goal to the good. How about that for a pass from Trundle? Right into the path of Sharp. Morel just couldn't make it. Hill knocks it forward and over the top of Trundle. Well, the half-time whistle has gone, and to say it's been disappointing is something of an understatement. Chances few and far between. It almost seemed as though both sides were more concerned about not losing than trying to win the game. Half-time at the racecourse. It's Wrexham 0, Bristol City 0. Welcome back to Soccer Sunday. No changes to either side, but you have to think after that first half, the second half begins in similar fashion, and both managers may well press some substitutes into service. Taken on by Brown, and there was an earlier foul on Tony Thorpe, so it's going to be a free kick to Bristol City inside the first minute of the second half. Tom Doherty's going to take. It's Danny Cole's up from the back, swung in by Doherty dangerously, and that could have got anywhere. It's gone for a corner, and Wrexham get a let off. Walsh was in no man's land. Terrific delivery from Doherty. No one really wanted to attack it. It came off Hill in the end. So now a corner for Wrexham to defend. Corner not as impressive as the free kick. Come out to Doherty though. Murray. It's a better delivery. It was towards Peacock. Hill got highest again. Brown. Just hemmed inside their own penalty area at the moment, Wrexham. Brown's ridden the challenge and drives it across goal. It was a shotgun cross, and Bristol City have been close now twice in the space of a minute. Martin Shaw. Waiting for Whitley to make the run outside. Ferguson again. Trundle. Thomas. Now Whitley. This time with three red shirts in the middle, but he goes square to chalk. Whitley again. Onto the left foot. It might be a good pass for Trundle. Oh, and the shot was spilled by Stow. Wasn't too much venom in it. At least a rare shot on target for the Dragons. Good run this by Jim Whitley. First time you've really seen him in that kind of advanced position. Trundle couldn't quite get enough power despite Stow's fumble. Shaw, that's a good pass. Onside here is Thomas. With Morel in the middle, Trundle far post, and he couldn't reach either of them. Corner though for Wrexham. But it promised so much more. Roberts up again, he has scored this season. As has Keith Hill. Good delivery, and a flick. Just missed the far post. Unlucky Roberts. A really good try. Gave the Wrexham fans something to get excited about. He lost his marker. How close was that? Carey. Wolf is there with Hill right behind him, but Hill was doing a bit of pushing, and so Bristol City have another free kick. They caused plenty of problems from the last one. That's from the other side. Coles is up again. This time it's going to be Brown to deliver. Good ball in again, and it's gone in at the far post. Cole's the scorer. A sucker punch as far as Wrexham are concerned. And with 54 minutes gone, Bristol City have the lead. They got away with it a couple of times, Wrexham, but eventually they buckled. Credit Brown with an excellent delivery, and Cole stolen on the far post. In fact, looking at the replay, it may well be an own goal. Coles was certainly the nearest Bristol City man to it. And he might try and claim it, but I suspect it went in off Steve Roberts. Brown. Forward by Doherty, and he's got Thorpe here, who can probably finish it now. Good goalkeeping, but it's going to go in. And it's 2-0 Bristol City. Nothing going for Wrexham, but didn't he take it well? Number 11 for the season. And Wrexham's goose is almost certainly cooked. He's got so much pace, Thorpe. He kept his cool here, didn't panic. Got a grab on it there, Walsh, but Thorpe was alert and alive and put it in. Just had too much pace for Whitley to get to him. Vain attempt by Dave Walsh, but it's Tony Thorpe's 11th goal of the season. Sharp. Ghosted past Lee Peacock. Trundle. What a frustrating day for him so far. This is Whitley. Trundle, Morrell and Hector Sam all ahead of him. This is Sam. Ferguson. Blackwood. Sam again. Thomas setting his sights for goal. All he's going to get is a corner kick. Just needs something to break for them in the box for Wrexham, a ricochet, anything, and get them back in this game. Well, Snell came and got half a fist on it. It's come out to Morrell. Thomas. Turned away from goal rather. Whitley. Ferguson. Thomas again. Trundle. On the chest, left foot, good try. That's what Trundle's all about. Instant control and a shot on goal. At that time Stow was perfectly placed to make the save. Whatever you say about Trundle, you can never criticise his effort. At the other end, Wrexham just about clear of danger. Whitley. Ferguson. Showed too much of that to Peacock. Brown. That's overhead. Ferguson. Sharp. By Blackwood. Trundle again. Oh, that's superb. Offside. Okay. Right up. Oh, that's a great pity, because that had been a super goal. Piece of absolute magic again by Trundle. Crowd don't like it. Not surprising. Let's watch this from Trundle. That is different class. There's an excellent finish by Blackwood, but all to no avail because he was offside. Roberts. Ferguson. Just brushed aside Tom Doherty there. Thomas. Almost predictable. Whitley. Morrell. Darren Ferguson. Whitley again. Nearest of touches from Sam. Whitley has it back. Onto the left foot. Right idea. It was starting to come back, but not in time. Oh, Hill in trouble. Just gave it to Peacock. They can just run the clock down now, Bristol City. Doherty, might fancy a crack at goal here. No one's closed him down. Full time at the racecourse. A few boos from some of the loyal Wrexham fans. Another home defeat. Visiting fans have seen their side improve their chances, still up in the playoff zone. The opener from Danny Coles, although it might be an own goal, the league may have to sit in judgment. Fans don't care about it. No doubt about the scorer of the second goal for Bristol City. Tony Thorpe was later substituted, but no early Christmas cheer for Wrexham. It's finished at the racecourse. Wrexham 0, Bristol City 2. Danny, you must be very pleased because Wrexham rarely threatened, did they, in that game?
I thought as a unit, I thought we looked quite strong today defensively. Maybe in the first half, you know, we didn't really lay any sort of effort on their goal, quite honestly. It was all midfield play for both teams. But I thought overall, second half we started brightly. I thought a more positive second half. We got that early breakthrough that we obviously would have liked, and we got it. But I thought when that happened, I couldn't see us losing the game after that.
What's Cole said in the dressing room? Is he claiming it? Because it looked from our view as though it came off a defender.
Yeah, I mean, I've just heard that. No, I think I didn't even ask him, quite honestly, because I expected it to be him, and I've just been told now it came off a defender. But I mean, I'm not really bothered about that, quite honestly. I'm just glad we got the 3 points. It's never ever easy coming here, and you're always going to get a real battle with Wrexham, you know, and in particular with Dennis's team as well. You know, it's going to be very hard because of the position that they're in, you know, and they're going to come out fighting, and we had to match that.
Well, in the end, yeah, we stopped them playing in the first half, and you know, part of the plan worked. The first goal was always going to be the important one, and again we've not defended a free kick particularly well. It's bounced in the 6-yard box, so it should be dealt with, and it's an own goal. It's Steve Robertson gone in, and then we've opened ourselves up chasing the game then, and got suckered for the second one. Neither side really has produced a perfect performance, far from it. I'm sure they'll be happy with it, but it wasn't a good game to watch. It wasn't good entertainment, and it was disappointing to get the result. I mean, I'd be happier if I was like them. If we'd have played badly and got 3 points, I'd have been happy, but we didn't. We played badly and got none.
Just before Christmas, and you're in the top 5. Presumably you're pretty satisfied with your position at the moment?
Well, yeah, I mean, the top 5, you know, but it's the points that's the most important. I think, you know, we've closed that gap a little bit, although we may play one more game than a few teams now. But at least we're up there, you know, and I think there's only maybe 5 points between us and the top, something like that. And that's important, you know. It's all right being 5th, but being 10 points off the top, I think it's, you know. But we've closed that gap a little bit, and you know, we're just keeping that pressure on a few teams around us, and that result today will help us enormously. Can
I just ask you finally? I know you're concerned with your side, but do you sometimes feel for managers like Dennis Smith, with no money, you can't bring players in, struggling with low crowds? Is there room for sympathy in football?
Yeah, of course there's. I mean, it's a difficult enough job as it is anyway, you know, and when you have all those ingredients added to it as well, you know, I think it makes it even more difficult. But still, the demands are still the same from the fans, you know. We have the same problem, believe it or not, at our place. You know, we get bigger crowds, of course we do, but we have the same restrictions, you know, and but that doesn't mean the expectation level is any less. You know, you just got to get on with it, you know, and under pressure that we all work under, you know. And Dennis has been in the position before, and he comes to it fantastically well. I'm sure he'll bring him back around again, you know, and it'll keep him in this division. I think you're almost certain to that.
The best moment that Wrexham produced, the exquisite touch from Trundle, Blackwood's finish, and when you saw the linesman's flag up, you must have despaired, didn't you? Well,
I'd like to see it, you know, on video. I thought, you know, Michael was on the move as the flick came. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. If the linesman sticks his flag up, he's offside. There's not much he can do about it.
Some of the touches from Trundle today were as good as anything you'd see at virtually any level. Is he getting frustrated, though, that he's not actually getting the goals like he was last season?
Well, I think that's one of the problems. When I came, I thought I'd get goals because I've got Trundle and Falconbridge back to Sam, but we're not scoring goals. And today, really, for all his touches and everything else, he didn't look like scoring. And in the end, as a striker, that's a big part of his job, especially Trundle.
So the decision by Danny Wilson to agree to move in that match at Wrexham paid dividends, with City now just 5 points off the leaders Brighton as they moved into 4th place with 38 points. And they must fancy their chances of climbing higher over the next few weeks. Next week they travel to Cambridge, who are second from bottom of Division 2. Then it's home to yesterday's opposition Wrexham. Port Vale and QPR are not in the best form at the moment either. So if all goes to form, City's only really tough test comes at Cardiff on December the 29th.
As they won at Cambridge for the first time in 17 years. Lee Peacock opened the scoring after 12 minutes following some poor marking. He made it 2 before half-time after a deflected Scott Murray cross. And Terry Thorpe finished things off just before the end, although it'll go down in the records as an Andy Duncan own goal. Richard Payne, HTV News.
More than 16,000 at Ninian Park for the second time in 4 days, and most of them were happy enough just after half-time when skipper Graham Kavanagh turned in Robert Earnshaw's cross. But that was as good as it got for Cardiff, and by the hour mark they were 3-1 down. Scott Murray's equaliser was pretty much all his own work. But he had to share a little of the credit for his second with the home defence just 3 minutes later. It was perhaps a little too easy to find a way round Dean Gordon and a way past Neil Alexander. And Cardiff's first home defeat for 3 months was confirmed when the visitors scored a third goal inside 5 minutes. It stemmed from a defensive mix-up. Lee Matthews, the grateful recipient. Bristol City a very happy end to the year.
We've got the rights to show you any action from the FA Cup, so in today's programme we've extended highlights of Bristol City, who are hoping to return to the top of Division 2 by beating Wigan at Ashton Gate. Manager of the month Danny Wilson made 3 changes to the side that won at Cardiff. Kevin Amankwah replaced the injured Lewis Carey, Tom Docherty was preferred to Brian Tinian, and Lee Peacock had recovered from a hamstring injury and replaced Lee Matthews. On loan striker Danny Rodriguez was among the substitutes. Wigan are unbeaten in 9 games but have drawn their last 5. Paul Jewell made 2 changes following last weekend's draw with Bournemouth. Arjanda Zoo replaced Jason DeVos, and Peter Kennedy came in for Paul Cook, who's returned to Burnley following a loan spell. Your commentators at Ashton Gate are Paul Walsh and Guy Havard.
Amankwah's clearance was unconvincing. That's going to be a free kick. It was Teal who was caught, and it's in a very dangerous position as far as Bristol City are concerned.
Yeah, it was poor defending really. The clearance should have been made better. I thought it was a little bit sloppy the way he lunged at the ball.
Peter Kennedy's got a terrific left foot. We've seen that down through the years with Watford, and it is set up for him, number 22. It's a broad red wall. Peter Kennedy still to score for Wigan. Oh, and he came mighty close there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great effort. I mean, he got it nigh on perfect there. Short run up, got it up and down very quickly. I think the keeper just got his fingers on it and made a great save actually.
Well, it's certainly a corner. Matt Jackson winning the header. Played forward by Aaron Brown. Terrific ball in, and it's hit the side netting from Lee Peacock.
Yeah, nearly had egg on my face there, didn't I, Guy? Good little ball slid up the inside left channel, and a good run by Peacock, using his pace and strength to get onto it. Possibly could have gone for the far post and just hitting the side netting at the near side. To be fair to him, he's under a fair bit of pressure.
Lee Peacock missed the last game for Bristol City across the bridge in Cardiff due to hamstring injury. He felt he might have struggled to get back in today, so good was their performance and results at Ninian Park. 3-1 winners, Bristol City, on that occasion. Teal using his pace for Wigan. In towards Little! Oh, it was too fine a contact in the end. And it's Little finding a bit of space. Teal over on the far side. McMillan is racing ahead of him. And here is McMillan, the fullback. Brannan. Kennedy. And in towards Little! Oh, another golden opportunity squandered by Andy Little.
Well, he's not going to have two better chances than he's had in the first 10 minutes or 7 minutes or so. That's a great big angled ball. It's a great jump and knock down by McCulloch, and Little coming in. He makes better contact than in the previous chance, but he's got to be beating the keeper from there.
Here come Bristol City again. Nice feet by Doherty. Amankwa put under pressure by McCulloch, but he's a strong, confident player. So too Burnell. Good ball in, and it's 1-0. Peacock scores against the run of play, and Wigan rue their early missed chances. Lee Peacock.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about, Guy. You can't afford to miss those early chances, because this is what happens, you get punished. Amankwa showing good strength, breaking out. He plays a very firm ball, and Burnell handles it very well, delivers a good ball into the box. Peacock just holding his run and side-footing it into the net as the defenders all get pulled towards the goal. And that's a good finish, hitting it into the ground and the bounce beating the keeper. Bristol City 1-0.
Doherty finding Murray. Who's in a lot of him down this right-hand side? Very effective player. And that's a terrific ball for Peacock! 2-0!
Oh, what a great goal. I mean, I just can't believe what I'm seeing here, because Wigan have had so much of the play as well. But Murray coming off that right-hand side, picks the ball up as they break away. It's on that inside right channel. He runs inside, a great little run. Good run from Tony Thorpe, taking the defender away. But what a finish this is. As it comes into him, he sweeps it in all in one movement, starts it on the outside of the post, and it just drifts inside the post. 2-0 Bristol City, that's a great goal.
Oh, he highlighted Thorpe beforehand, but Peacock finished like an accomplished centre-forward there. His second goal, and his 10th in League and Cup this season. And is it too early to say that Bristol City are heading back to the top of the second division? Certainly Wigan will, as Paul said, be scratching their heads. Here's Little again, another chance for him. And following that was Teal, and that will be just a goal kick in the end. Teal thinks it's a corner. It isn't, or is it? Or is it? It's a good save.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like
the referee pointed to a goal kick, definitely. This might be interesting. The corner swung out of place, but will that be a goal kick? That's the relief of the referee.
He got there in the end, the referee, didn't he? But the linesman was given a corner, and the referee was walking away giving a goal kick, so...
Poor old Andy Little. Matt Jackson laying it off for Green. Two players with plenty of Premiership experience.
So you guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but look how deep now Teal is having to come. Now he's virtually on the halfway line looking to pick the ball up, because Mickey Bell's gone way behind him, and he's making him have the ball in front of him.
Brannan arriving, he missed it. Dinnington took a deflection, but it's not going to break again for Wigan. What a first 45 it's been for him.
Yeah, I mean, I keep thinking back to his second goal, thinking what a great finish it was. On the run, it came into his stride, and he just caressed it with enough pace around the keeper. It probably started just outside the post and ended up just inside it. It was a great finish.
And he has been the key man in that first 45. Two terrific finishes. Has put Danny Wilson's side ahead at the break, but he's been in the game too long enough to know that his side aren't 2 goals better than Wigan, certainly not on that first 45. But Peacock is smiling, and so too are Bristol City. They lead here at half-time by 2 goals to 0.
City leading by 2 goals to 0 at the end of the first 45 minutes. Let's pick up the action in the second half with your commentators Paul Walsh and Guy Havard.
The emphasis is on Wigan. Paul Jewell saying beforehand that they enjoy playing the big sides. They're actually better against the big sides. He emphasised the Canvey Island result. Another bad ball in, and McCulloch is arriving, and McCulloch deserves some luck. Wigan deserves some luck, and they've got it. McCulloch is claiming it might have been Teal. It doesn't matter. Wigan at last have a break inside the penalty area.
Yeah, this is just what Wigan needed. This will give them a big lift. I couldn't quite see who actually ended up getting the final touch, but it's a big delivery in from Kennedy. Little comes in as a double touch.
Might have been McCulloch on the floor.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. Was McCulloch, yeah. Came in, had a double effort at the goal. And I think Till probably got the final touch. He took a deflection, ended up in the side netting.
Flick on by Murray. Tinian using that accurate left foot to good effect early on. Murray's continued his run. Peacock's the only man in the centre. Can he find him? Oh, he found De Vos. He was mighty grateful that the ricochet elevated high.
Yeah, I mean, good play by Thorpe. He drifts out to the wide position, plays it into Murray. Murray tries to drift into Peacock there at the near post, and De Vos gets under it and clears it away.
Murray is such a key player. When they get him going forward, he looks so dangerous. Bristol City look dangerous.
Yeah, it's quite a clever play by Tony Thorpe by drifting away and creating that space for Murray to burst into.
Most of the red shirts are on the edge of the area at the moment, timing their runs. De Vos took it out of the hands of his goalkeeper. There's Murray, and Murray's still going. And it's taken a deflection, it's hit the top of the netting in the end, another corner.
Yeah, he's been a big danger, Murray. Gets in some great positions, very positive run into the box there. Tries to hit that near post area again, and good defending.
Here comes Wigan's leading scorer this season. Simon Howarth replaces Lee McCulloch, and Howarth has just over 15 minutes to bag an equaliser. 10 goals in the league this season. Very similar player, as you can see, to Lee McCulloch, tall and strong.
Yeah, he's got 15 minutes or so, and he'll be looking to make some impact on the game. He's got a good goal record, and he'll be looking to improve it.
A Bristol City player, Doherty, and that'll be a corner. A couple of big guys again. Time running out for Wigan. A lot of possession in this second half, but not too many clear-cut chances. De Vos wins the header, and it's gone in! De Vos is claiming it! His first goal for Wigan, and they've completed a remarkable comeback.
And I'd like to see whether Liddell's trying to claim this, because it went straight past his feet. I'm just trying to see if he got a touch on it. Big ball to the back post. De Vos, who's been dominant in defence and now he's dominant in attack. Did Liddell get a touch there? I'm not sure. I want to give it to him because he deserves a goal. Oh, I can't really say. Difficult one to call.
I think Liddell actually went to congratulate De Vos as opposed to expecting everyone to congratulate him.
Yeah, he's a good honest lad. I think if he didn't make contact, you might be right. I just wanted him to score the goal because it's nothing worse than he had 3 good chances and he hadn't converted.
Well, just caught a sighting there of Lee Matthews, the Bristol City striker. Donny Wilson going to make another change. Here is De Vos. The cross-up. Not a bad one either. Oh, it's off the line. And the shot by Dinning is just wide.
Well, they're certainly up against it now, Bristol City. De Vos having an influence all around the pitch now. And ball stuck up to the far post, and Howarth there coming in, powering the header, cleared off the line, and Dinning coming in with a strike just past the post.
Mike Stow was saved by Danny Coles, who'd taken up an intelligent position fairly quickly. And he cleared off the line, and suddenly, it's hard to believe it, but Bristol City are hanging on.
Yeah, to be honest, I think you could tell from the body language a little that he possibly didn't get a touch, but that was just me wanting him to score because I've been in that position.
Free kick to Wigan. They've shown their aerial prowess, particularly in this second half, particularly when that man at the bottom of your picture, De Vos, has come on as a substitute, and he's now going forward, the number 2, looking for goal number 2 for him, and a third for the manager. Got to mark him tightly. It's towards De Vos, who's arriving. Takes a deflection. Hits the post. It's a tumble. Was that a penalty? No, says the referee. And Bristol City are hanging in there.
Well, I mean, what an influence De Vos has had on the game. Well, he's been involved in everything that's been good from Wigan's point of view since he came on.
It was another crisp header from the Canadian. And Bristol City, there is another opportunity for Wigan to attack. Will surely be looking to put two players on him. So dominant was he in the air again. It just took a deflection, I think maybe off a Bristol City player before hitting the post. And then there was a claim for a penalty straight afterwards. What a terrific finish to this game. Murray going forward for Bristol City. No free kick. Quickly forward by Wigan. They still fancy this. They don't want another draw. A little unable to turn Burnell. Got himself in a bit of a pickle. Howarth in the centre is the only man in blue at the moment. Dalglish a little further behind him, and it goes over the top of both of them. Was it a penalty? The referee said no.
Well, I think it's the only thing that could have saved him was the fact that he's going right away from goal.
Jackson. Dinning. Good ball. Kennedy getting forward. Dalglish is behind him. Little. Howarth in the centre. Dinning puts it in towards Howarth, who gets a good head of it! It's the crossbar! Again! Right at the start and right at the end of the game, the crossbar has come to Bristol City's rescue.
Well, how unlucky is that? I mean, you can see what Dinning was looking for. Howarth wanted the diagonal ball towards him, and Dinning delivered a great swerving ball into him. He made good contact, couldn't get power, it was just direction. It just looped over the keeper and hits the crossbar. How unlucky.
Bristol City having all sorts of problems aerially now inside their penalty area. And they've got a drummer. The old man to his right, he looks really chuffed about the noise level. Youngsters these days. Throw into Wigan. Is the noise level at that end of the ground to increase still further? De Vos with the thrower taker this time round. Free header! Although Dalglish couldn't really get much power on it.
Yeah, I don't think you can say that was a great chance. I mean, as the ball comes across, I think there's a little flick on, and as it comes to Dalglish, he's backing away. There's no real pace on the ball, and he can't generate the power to get it on target. But I think you've got to say Wigan have certainly deserved a draw today with the possession that they've had, and apart from that 20-30 minute spell where in the middle of the game when they did looked a bit flat, I think they've deserved the point.
And they're going for a winner now. There's an opportunity for Dinning. Oh, fine save by Stout. One former Wolves player denies another. Kennedy, good ball in, and it's Dalglish! Dinning! Dalglish! Oh, cleared away to safety. But Wigan, well, if they'd had some breaks this afternoon, we could be talking about 5 or 6 for Paul Jewell's team.
The lads are disappointed at the end because we position we're in at 2-0 up. But I have to say, second half, I think they put us on our back foot for long periods. The ball in the box and some big guys in there as well, that put us under enormous pressure. You look at the goals, a little bit sloppy goals from our point of view, but there was a lot of pressure coming in at that time. You know what I mean? And we were clearing our lines and couldn't seem to be getting out of our box at times. We didn't get all the ball as we did in the first half and pass it. But you got to give credit to Wigan for that. They worked very hard. Overall, I'm disappointed because we're 2-0 up. But again, at the end, we could have come away with nothing, so I've got to be thankful for little mercies, I suppose.
The 2 points that have gone by the way have implications league-wise. Obviously, you haven't gone top, and Stoke do have those 2 games in hand. You'll be well aware of them.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, it's not what anybody else does. It's what we do. We've got to do it ourselves. Nobody's going to do your favourite in this league, any league. If you're going to go in and get in the top 6 place at the end of the season, you've done your own merit. And again today we've played against a very good Wigan side, and we knew that before. Let's not take anything away from them. They're a good side. And from my perspective, I think some of our younger lads, felt that possibly that was the hardest game we've had so far.
Welcome to a very special soccer special as we bring you extended highlights of tonight's LDV Van Southern Section semi-final between Bristol City and Bristol Rovers, the only Bristol derby of the season. City were without leading scorer Tony Thorpe, who was serving a one-match ban, so Lee Matthews came in to play alongside Lee Peacock, who scored a brace on Saturday. Mike Stowell failed to shake off a knee injury, so he couldn't take his place behind the usual City formation. Steve Phillips, who saved a last-minute penalty the last time these two teams met, was recalled. Bristol Rovers were on a high following their amazing win at Derby, not in a derby, but in another cup competition at the weekend. That was manager Gary Thompson's third successive win after taking over the reins full-time from Jerry Francis. Thompson made two changes in the side that won in the East Midlands. Che Wilson failed a late fitness test on an ankle injury sustained at Pride Park, and he was replaced by former City fan Mike Trout. And there was a debut for 19-year-old Drew Shaw, who came in for David Hillier. Your commentator at Ashton Gate is Phil Duffel.
Ommel comes forward and wins the header for Rovers, tidied up there at the back by Amankwah. Now it's Murray. He could be a key man for Bristol City tonight if they can get him on the ball. He's making inroads already, driven shot across the face of goal. Peacock was perhaps hoping for a little slide pass across instead, but Murray only had eyes for goal. Chalice, Ellington with the layoff, Chalice once more, very tight in that midfield area. City looking to provide width far side now with Bell. Aaron Brown's gone on a good run ahead of him. It's with Matt Hill for the moment. Now they're trying to release Brown. He's away from his man. It's Aaron Brown for Bristol City. And it's a corner for the home side. Strong, positive run down the left flank by midfielder Brown. Yet to score this season, but so often a supply line as far as Bristol City are concerned. And the home side's first corner of the game to be taken by Scott Murray. There's a posse of players in front of Scott Howie on his near post, just making life a little awkward for the goalkeeper, and that's where the ball is aimed. Cleared Hill, and cleared off the line, or near the line, by Rovers captain Lewis Hogg. So the closest we've come so far, perhaps almost inadvertently. Lewis Hogg leading by example for Bristol Rovers. Matthews having a run against Trout, winning the throw for City deep in enemy territory. Murray takes over, has two to beat. Chalice, the initial defender. That's a good cross and a good gather by Scott Howie. Peacock was in looking for any crumbs in and around the 6-yard box. Sound handling though by the goalkeeper ensured there was no joy for the City strikers. Coles just getting the nod ahead of Ellington, but running out of space down beneath us. Approaching the 15-minute mark. Neither side really had a strike in anger at goal. In from Trout. Hill comfortably heads clear. Picked up by the blue and white shirts again though, but gifted away by Smith, and likewise Brown. Now Hogg making tracks. Hill prevented the ball going through to Kevin Gore, which might have been interesting from a Rovers perspective. Doherty goes down under the challenge from Plummer. Sporting the captain's armband tonight, Tom Doherty. Must be two of the youngest captains in a Bristol derby, actually. Doherty aged 22 and Lewis Hogg aged 19 with the armband for Rovers. Can't believe there have been many younger skippers in this particular fixture. Treatment for a slight facial injury now for Nathan Ellington. Rovers certainly won't want to see him in the wars. Did well. Unfortunately, none of his teammates expected him to get the ball across. Bell has retrieved it far side. Good cross. Matthews missed the header, and Murray bluffed the volley. Good opening though for Bristol City. Bell, as so often, the provider from the left-hand side. Matthews perhaps had the best chance with the header, and Murray off balance as he tried to readjust as the ball came over. Ommel, Ellington, Cole's in control. It's very nonchalantly done. The home side easing their way forward once more. Just beginning to call the tune now, Bristol City. Cole tumbles. Referee just turned away. And Manquar holding off Ellington. Well, the air temperature is dropping, but out there on the field, things perhaps just beginning to hot up a little now. Matthews, with Bell steaming outside him. Matthews goes alone. What a terrific strike, and what a goal! Lee Matthews puts Bristol City in front on the half hour, and Rovers only have themselves to blame. They backed off and invited the strike, and when it came from Lee Matthews, he drilled it low in off the post. No chance at all for Scott Howie. Lee Matthews, 23 last Sunday, gets himself a belated birthday present. 1-0 City. Brown away from the first challenge. Smith in the way second time, but now Peacock finds Bell. Chance again for Bristol City, and drilled across the face of goal. I'm sure it was an attempted cross rather than a shot by Mickey Bell, an unselfish player. Ellington killed it nicely. Now he's taking on a Manquar, still with Nathan Ellington. Triggs almost fooling himself to begin with. Well, he's full of confidence at the moment. That particular effort was enjoyed more by the City fans than the Rovers faithful. Maybe not quite a £2 million man just yet. finds Murray on this right-hand side, away from Chalice. It's Scott Murray, was opening up just for a moment, but Chalice wrestled him to the ground. Scott was unhappy with the challenge, so too was the referee. And it looks like a second card now going the way of Bristol Rovers, and this time it's Trevor Chalice. More to the point is the Bristol Rovers have a real chance to exact further punishment from the free kick. Possibly a little bit too far for a direct dip at goal, although the angle favours the left footer in Mickey Bell. He's gone for the cross instead. Howie held it superbly. Done precious little wrong so far this evening, Scott Howie. But he has been beaten by the only goal of the night so far, scored by Lee Matthews on the half hour. Approaching half-time now. Bristol Rovers still really yet to fire on all cylinders, and under pressure once more from Matthews. Would you believe it? He's done it again! Well, it's the Lee Matthews show. He's in for top scorer Tony Thorpe, and on form like this, who needs Tony Thorpe? Again, Rovers backed off, and again Matthews exacted the ultimate punishment. His second of the night, City's second, his fourth of the season, and that really does give Bristol Rovers a major headache now on the stroke of half-time. City 2, Rovers 0, Matthews with a boot. Matthews, well, he's looking for a penalty, referee's looking the other way. Doherty, that's moving. Howie's lost it. Horan to the rescue. That was some strike by Tom Doherty. Ellington. Thwarted by Burnell. As far as Bristol City are concerned, goals on 30 and 45 minutes for the striker, who's in place of Tony Thorpe and doing a good job in leading the attack for his team. Rovers, with precious little by way of goal scoring chances in the first half, have plenty to do when we get back for the second half. Join us for that after this break. Bristol Rovers trailing by 2-0 have it all to do. But I'm sure it won't have escaped their notice that City let a 2-goal advantage slip here on Saturday against Wigan. So hope springs eternal in the blue and white camp. But they really do need a much improved performance on their first half show, when City really were in charge, and they could kill it here. Joe Burnell, fantastic save, the follow-up from Peacock. Now he's there again. Brilliant work by the goalkeeper. And he saved his side from sudden death at the start of the second half. Where was the visiting defence? I'm sure that's a question Howie himself will be asking. But he plunged to his left to deny Burnell, and then bravely got up to just put off Lee Peacock as he tried on the follow-up. A third goal there would surely have killed it. Bristol Rovers make the most of their let-off. Lewis Hogg trying to cushion it through for Ommel. Smith loses out to Doherty. Now it's Aaron Brown. Played just too far behind Lee Matthews though. For once tonight things didn't quite go his way. Sergio Ommel is doing well in the air. I'm wondering if Rovers should perhaps perhaps use that as a way back into the game. If they can get a bit more service up to Ommel, have him winning the headers and the likes of Gall and Ellington perhaps latching onto any knockdowns, then perhaps there might be a way back for them. Plummer diving in, won the ball, Ellington, first chance for him! I was about to say he doesn't usually need many chances, but he's wasted a golden opportunity there. He's hot, but obviously not that hot at the moment. Instant strike, but as far as the Rovers fans behind that goal are concerned, it went the wrong side of the upright. Still a blistering start to the second half, chances at both ends. And more of the same, please. Ellington, lay off to Ommel. And Manquar in the way, and Coles eases it back to Steve Phillips. Phillips, who's been first choice for Bristol City in this competition only. Mike Stowell, the regular goalkeeper, but Phillips has played in each of the previous rounds in the LDV. Played very well too, it must be said. Now Matthews, a bit of a hat-trick for him. Still Matthews, and still trying to tee up Mickey Bell. Oh, it's a sensational finish. Surely it's all over now. Bell with a special goal puts real daylight between the teams. Well, Matthews perhaps had thoughts of a hat-trick, unselfishly set up Bell instead, and he made no mistake. Third goal of the season for the fullback. He might be the oldest man on the field, but he can still play a bit, and City lead 3-0. Ommel's touch on, away by Matt Hill. Forward from Burnell to Matthews. He's been a revelation for Bristol City this evening. To be fair to him, he filled in really well at Cardiff the other day as well. He's saying to his manager, drop me if you dare. Hill now rampaging forward. Aaron Brown. Bell once more, opening up nicely, Bell. It would have been a picture book goal. Matt Hill obviously hadn't quite read the script, and having got himself in the clear inside the penalty area, couldn't find the target with the diving header. Is raised on the far side. Free kick's gone Rovers' way, and this is within range. Much debate as to who's going to hit it. I'm surprised Ellington is not involved in that discussion. It looks like it's going to be Plummer. It's not exactly what he dreamt of. And that's been the story so far for Bristol Rovers. They certainly haven't made the most of set pieces, and they've created precious little in open play. Comes to meet it. Ellington looking for the flick on to release Cameron, but Bristol City have that particular path blocked. It's Ellington once more now. This is Cameron, and he's offside. Bristol City have played one more round compared to Rovers so far. Their scalps include Torquay, Southend and Peterborough. Rovers, who had a bye in the first round, have beaten non-league opposition to get this far, Yeovil and Dagenham. And at present it looks as though this could be the end of the road for Bristol Rovers, with City very much in the box seat to go on and face Cambridge in the Southern Area final. That is, unless there is a very dramatic twist to this particular tale. Beaten in the air. Hill clears nicely too to find Tinian. Murray slips his man, and Murray will now take some catching. Peacock and Matthews are alongside. It's Scott Murray in full flight, just overdoing it. He does take some stopping when he's motoring. Your best hope is to rely on him to fool himself, as he did then, rather. Murray again, this time trying to flick it through for Lee Peacock. Trout was alert to the danger. This is Mark Smith. Cameron concedes the free kick, leading with his elbow. City have the edge, 5-4 on Bristol-born players in their side, and you can bet they're enjoying this evening. Derby matches mean just that little bit more if you happen to have been born and bred in this city as well. Although interestingly, their goals so far this evening have come from their northeast outsiders, Lee Matthews of Middlesbrough, and Mickey Bell, who's a Newcastle boy. Here's one of the Bristol lads, Burnell on the ball, allows Tinian to take over. He finds Bell, a combination that served the club so well down the years. Matthews on the turn, fired in. Murray! Oh! What a screamer it would have been. Now Bristol City really turning it on now. And the instant strike from Murray, well, it just about shaved the post as it whistled by. September, you can see the confidence has just ebbed away, and the ball there wouldn't quite drop quickly for him, and in the end he snatched at it. Ellington, Cameron slipped his man initially, then made a real hash of it. Caught in two minds, and in the end fell between two stools. Time to head for the exits for one or two disconsolate Rovers followers. No throwing in the towel from the team, of course. Ellington. Coles hasn't put her foot wrong all night. Shaw. Ellington on the turn against a Mankwa. It's been another good battle. It's all a little too late for Rovers. They're enjoying one of their best spells of the game now in terms of possession. Still showing very little in terms of a cutting edge in attack. And if anything, City on the counter look more likely to make it 4 than Rovers do to get a consolation back. Rodriguez. And still teed up for Peacock, is it? Well, Warren got to him in the nick of time. Just for a moment it seemed that Lee Peacock must score. The long legs of the Rovers centre-back got the vital touch. Brown. Matthews. Is there time yet for him to finish a glorious night with goal number 3? There's no discernible wall from Rovers. 1 or 2 shouts of shoot from the City fans. Tinian takes up the opportunity. Well, not to give him too many chances from that range. He was inviting trouble. It'll be Bristol City against Cambridge United in the two-legged Southern Area final of the LDV Vance Trophy, and it's all gone wrong for Bristol Rovers in the space of a few days as they taste defeat for the first time under new boss Gary Thompson. 3-1 FA Cup winners at Derby, but in this local derby, Bristol Rovers well beaten. The final score at Ashton Gate, Bristol City 3, Bristol Rovers 0.
Danny, I've seen a few local derbies. I think that was just about as comfortable as it gets, really, from a Bristol City point of view.
I don't think it was comfortable, but I thought we were commanding in the game. You know, I thought we played particularly well. You know, throughout the 90 minutes. The first half, I thought we created a lot of chances, good situations, and really didn't get to the end of things. Got a nose in front with a terrific strike from Lee, and then got one just on half time, which was very, very good from my point of view, but obviously a little bit downhearted from their point of view to lose one so late in the first half. But I thought it was a true reflection of how we played. You know, I thought we played very, very well. I thought we looked menacing. I thought we looked powerful going forward. I thought we got down the sides of them particularly well. But I thought at the back as well we held solid against a big threat in their strikers. But I thought throughout they played very, very well. Second half started and you don't want to give any incentive at all, and they didn't. We started really strong again. As the game went on, I thought we were in our own opinion. I thought we looked very, very commanding.
Fair to say the best team won tonight?
Yeah, on the balance of it, we left our fullbacks isolated against Scott Murray and Mickey Bell, and you can't really do that. Like I say, we lost our discipline a little bit, and we went chasing the game, and certain players wanted it too much and started wanting to do their own thing. You can't do that. You've got to do, everyone does their percentage. And like, we've done that all along the last few games, and it's worked out well. We just get back to that for Saturday. It was always going to happen, because we're a young team. Sometimes you do forget him heat in the battle, but you know, they know how we feel in that, and they're hurting in there. The important thing is they've got to come out fighting, ready to show the fans on Saturday that we're going again.
Very difficult to play 2 big matches in such quick succession as well. I mean, how much was the Derby game, as in the Derby County game, a factor?
I mean, people said about that, and I was worried on Monday that it would be hard to lift them up for it. But as I say, I thought we started not too bad. I mean, it was a little bit even, but once the boy got in for his first goal in that, and we started letting Scott Murray run at us a little bit, and Mickey Bell, we did have a bit of a problem. And then instead of closing the door and locking them down and then playing, our biggest problem was we started how we ended against Derby, and you can't do that. You start professional, organised, and do your things. You don't go off the cuff and play ole football. Like, what you do is do the right things and then open the game up, then you play.
You've been by no means an automatic first choice, but it'd be a bit difficult to leave you out after that, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know, because I thought that after Cardiff, but then he put Lee back in and he scored 2 midweek, so I suppose that was justified. And obviously, I've had a couple of good games, but Tony Thorpe's been doing it for years, hasn't he? So, I don't know, just every time I get a chance, hopefully if I can do well, and the gaffer might play me a little bit more.
The nice thing from the club's point of view, though, is that all the strikers are scoring. There's good competition for places.
Yeah, exactly. That's always healthy. And then there's also Steve Jones and Peter Beadle will come back as well. And obviously they're very talented players as well. So like you say, if we keep going, hopefully we'll get promoted.
Lee Matthews making your life a little bit difficult though, because you've got 3 strikers all scoring goals, and you're the man who's going to pick 2 from those 3.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's, that's what they're there for, you know. And you also when that man strikers up forward, you've got to play them. If there's goals in them at that moment in time, you've got to keep playing them until well, you hope they don't drain themselves, but until they settle, they can drain. The next one comes in, takes over. So it's a big decision we have to make on Sunday, but it'll be done for the good of the side.